Yo, 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 what up? This is another quarantine edition of Spectator Sporting. And the good thing is sports is back and football is close. So we're going to do an NFC preview today. And I got some special guests in the building. I got my main man, Dante, in the building. What up, Dante?
Yo, what's going on?
Man, we also got Marcus, Coach Floyd in the building. What's going on, Coach?
What's up? Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. We got my main man, Boone Apata. What's happening, Boone?
What's up? I'm good, man. I'm glad I'm back. You know what
yes,
I'm saying?
Sir. What up, Adi? The one who run the joint, Adi Wally. What's going on?
I'm fantastic.
Fantastic, man. Let's get to it. So we're going to talk about the NFC. You know, last year the San Francisco 49ers won the NFC. A lot of things happened. The division winner. So we're going to start with the NFC North. Green Bay Packers was the champions last year. So Marcus, Coach Floyd, tell us about the NFC North. What's your thoughts on the NFC North going into this season?
So first off, being a huge Chicago Bears fan, I always got to take my heart out of it. But I really like the NFC North. This division, I think it's going to be a battle to the end. Obviously, we know what we have in the contrasting styles in this league. We have Patricia and Zimmer, who's defensive-minded. Then you got LaFleur and Nagy, who's offensive-minded. I look at all four of these teams, and they're trying to do the same thing. They want to rely on their defense and then have their quarterback bail them out at the end of the game. So let's start with Green Bay, who has the best quarterback in the league. I think that he's going to have an excellent year. LaFleur has got in A.J. Dillon. He's got his Derrick Henry in. So they're going to do that wide zone attack, and they're going to have Aaron Rodgers play action people to death. But then you got Minnesota. They lost some defensive players, but at the same time, they got some rookies in that defensive backfield that's going to make some noise, and we know what Zimmer do on defense. So I kept going back and forth who I'm going to go with, Green Bay or who I'm going to go with Minnesota. But then I looked at their schedules. Both of their schedules are brutal to start off with. So that gives my Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions hope. So I got Green Bay winning the division, but not by much. I got Minnesota and the Bears really following behind those guys. But Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers is who I'm picking.
Absolutely. Good. I see. You going with the repeat. Green Bay, who did win the division last year. Adi Wally, you know we going to the NFC West now. San Francisco, they was dominant last year in the NFC, should have won the Super Bowl. But who is going to win the NFC West this year?
Well, you know what? This offseason, the Arizona Cardinals offseason upgrades has got the NFC West as the best division in the NFL to me, okay? They robbed Houston Texans. They robbed them by trading running back David Johnson, a second-round pick and a fourth-round pick for a fourth-rounder and wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, who's just trying to make his fourth straight pro appearance. He's joining forces with the ageless one, Larry Fitzgerald, and Kristen Kirk, who's going to have some nice targets for the young quarterback, Kyler Murray, out there. They're going to be fun to watch, but I'm going to get serious here, man. This division comes down to Seattle and the San Francisco 49ers, the reigning NFC champions, all right? But the 49ers, they did trade DeForest Buckner. They traded their starting defensive tackle, DeForest Buckner, to the Indianapolis Colts for a first-round pick. DeForest Buckner, in the last 2 seasons, he had 19 sacks, 26 tackles for loss, and he absorbed blockers to free up guys like Eric Armstead and Bosa to get sacks on the quarterbacks left and right. So they used that first-round pick to draft his replacement, a 6'5", 315-pound Javon Kinlaw from South Carolina. He's very quick, but he relied heavily on his strength and athleticism on a collegiate in college to dominate those guys. He's going to have to work on his technique. Is he ready to fill the void of DeForest Buckner right away? I don't think so. I'm going to Seattle Seahawks to win the NFC West. I really like the running backs are coming back healthy. Chris Carson and Rashad Penny, they missed them in the playoffs against the Packers when they lost to them last year. They're back in healthy, and they signed Carlos Hyde. They signed Carlos Hyde. He got 1,000 yards last year with the Houston Texans. This is for insurance, just in case those guys get hurt again. And then there's only 2 quarterbacks that I'm taking over Russell Wilson. That would be Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. That's it. This guy was amongst quarterbacks that started at least 6 games last year. He threw the least amount of interceptions with 5. Was tied for number 3 in the NFL in touchdown passes. He can turn a broken play into a highlight. He was number 5 amongst quarterbacks in rushing yards, right? And then the Seattle Seahawks made a big splash all season with a big trade by trading safety Bradley McDougall, a first-round pick, third-round pick, a 2022 fourth-round pick, fourth-round pick, and Jamal Adams, strong safety from the New York Jets. He's coming in there. He was pissed off. He didn't like being in New York. Was losing all the time. He was his second year. He was the first ballot Pro Bowler. Third year All-Pro, entering his 4th year, finally on the winner. Joins forces with best middle linebacker in the NFL, Bobby Wagner, 5-time All-Pro, and also he led the league in tackles last year. But Jadeveon, we don't know what he's going to do. He still didn't sign with a squad yet. We don't know what he's going to do. So in the second round, the Seattle Seahawks did draft Darrell Taylor from Tennessee in the second round. They also brought back Bruce Irvin, who was with the Carolina Panthers last year. 8 sacks, 8.5 tackles for loss, 16 quarterback hits. I'm going with the Seahawks to win the NFC West.
Man, that's a tough division. That's gonna be that's a tough division. Boone Potter, tell me about the NFC East. Who's gonna win the NFC East?
Well, okay, so the NFC East is really interesting. You know, it got a lot of marquee teams in the whole franchise in NFC East. Now, the Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles, is coming second in this division for me. The Eagles made it to the playoffs 4 straight years in a row, and that streak is going to end right now. And I'm going to tell you why. First, I'm going to tell you that they did do a good job in the first round of the draft getting Jalen Reagor. Jalen Reagor, a wide receiver. He's super quick, super fast, can take the top off the defense. He can catch a slant or a little hitch and make people move with some good yak yards and take it all the way. He's going to be dynamic, very underrated receiver. And now they also made a big mistake in the second round getting Jalen Hurts, the quarterback for Oklahoma. I think that was kind of a wasted pick. I don't think he'd be ready to quarterback even if their guy get hurt, Wentz get hurt. I don't think Jalen Hurts is somebody that can come in this year. He's going to need about 2 or 3 years to kind of put himself up. So I just think that was a wasted pick. But I still like the Eagles. They got a phenomenal defense, all right? In the free agency, they got Javon Hargrave. They traded for Darius Slade, the cornerback from the Lions. And they traded for Marquise Goodwin, the wide receiver from 49ers.
Marquise Goodwin opted out this season because of COVID-19.
Oh, okay. So they messed up. They, I think, a third round or 4th round pick to get him. So that was a waste of a trade. I didn't know he opted out. I don't like him all the way. They offensive players, they got a running back in Miles Sanders, and they got the backup in Boston Scott. Of course, we got Zach Ertz at tight end. So they're receivers. I told you they drafted 1 receiver in the first round. They already got Deshaun Jackson, and Alshon Jeffrey has plantar fasciitis. So he's going to miss at least the first 2 to 3 weeks of the season. Okay, Marquise Goodwin opted out. And then they got Jalen Reagor, their rookie. They also drafted a rookie in John Hightower and a couple of other rookies, all fast guys. They really was really focusing on speed to take the top off the defense. They want to throw the ball deep. They're not going to win a division because their schedule, all right? Their schedule is murderer's row. Okay, they got 4 games in a row when they're playing one of the top defenses. In week 4, they're playing the 49ers. In week 5, they're playing the Steelers. In week 6, they're playing the Ravens. Then in week 8, they're playing the Dallas Cowboys.
Dang, that is tough.
Right, yeah. I don't think they're going to make it out of that black and blue run right there. Then at the end of the season, in week 12, they start playing some of the best quarterbacks in the league towards the end of the season. In week 12, they're playing the Seahawks. In week 13, they play the Packers. In week 14, they play the Saints. And then in week 16, they play the Cowboys. You know, I think Dak going to be, in his prime. So because of their record, they won a division last year. So they play some of the best teams in the, when they play other divisions. And I think the schedule was too much for them. And then they're competing with the Dallas Cowboys, who went 8-8 last year. But this is the opportunity. They say this every year. How about them Cowboys? It's all ESPN, Michael Irvin, everybody going crazy. I really think that year, because Dak Prescott, he's in his own glow. He's found himself despite just getting a franchise tag. They got Zeke Elliott. They drafted CeeDee Lamb. I didn't really like Amari Cooper that much last year, but he was hurt. So I feel like that's what kind of slowed him down, his production. And don't forget about Michael Gallup, the other wide receiver that's very underrated. It's one of the best O-lines in this division, all right? They got a left tackle in Tyron Smith, right guard in Zach Martin, and a right tackle is La'el Collins, all right? He's a Pro Bowler. I might not say his name right, but the boy can play. And they got a new coach in with Mike McCarthy, all right? He's known for winning. He goes to the playoffs every year as a coach. They say the former coach was just too passive and too weak, and they just need this new coach and Mike McCarthy to just be his average self. And the real reason why they're going to win, because they got one of the best defenses in the league, all right? They got a defensive coordinator named Mike Knoll. They'll be playing 4-3-3-4, all right? They defensive line, they got Gerald McCoy, Dontre Poe.
Gerald McCoy is out for the season.
Yeah, he's out.
He's out for the season.
Man.
They released him. Yeah. Yeah, he got injured.
But they got Everson Griffin. They got Everson Griffin from the Minnesota Vikings. They signed him, though.
They got him. Don't forget about DeMarcus Lawrence. They also got Aldon Smith. All right. I think he just got that suspension thing off his record. They got Tyron Crawford. And they got another guy that's trying to fight against some suspension, I think, with marijuana with Randy Gregory.
Yeah.
All right. They linebackers is cold. One of the best linebacker groups with Sean Lee, the veteran. He got a little injury problem. He's 35 years old. But they got Jalen Smith from Notre Dame. They got LVN, the Caucasian guy. He got a neck injuries, but he's a real good linebacker. And don't forget about this second-year linebacker who's going to be good. In case somebody get hurt, he's going to get a lot of playing time in Luke Gifford. All right, so their defense is the reason why I'm picking them. They got Ha-Ha Clinton Diggs. Their secondary ain't all that good. They got Ha-Ha Clinton Diggs, Sheldon Avezi, who's a cornerback. They'll be the number one cornerback. And a second-round draft pick with Trayvon Diggs, the rookie cornerback. He should get some playing time because their secondary a little bit weak. But I'm picking the Dallas Cowboys because they did not win the division last year, so their schedule should be slightly easier. Their offense is solid. Won the most yards per game last year with a great offensive line, and their defense is still solid despite losing Quinn to the Bears. So I'm picking the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I just got a feeling that division is going to come down to the last week of the season again, like it does every year in that division between the Eagles and the Cowboys. Dante, talk to me about the NFC South. Who's going to win the NFC South?
NFC South. So obviously, man, next we got the Saints and the Buccaneers. Man, you got two Hall-of-Fame quarterbacks right there. I mean, you're talking about top 5 quarterbacks of all time. I pretty much, however you want to slice it with those two guys. But I'm picking the Bucs to finish second. They're going to be a much improved football team. I'm going to talk about these last two teams a lot here. So last year they finished 29th overall in points per game. I think that because of that, that's just too hard of a thing to overcome in 1 year. That's going to be a huge relapse for them. But their defense is actually going to be much improved. The defense is going to be much improved. Starting up front, they do have Ndamukong Suh up front, so he's going to be a force in the run game. And their actual run defense was one of the best in the NFL, partially because they couldn't stop the run, so teams just threw the ball on them. But their front seven is pretty stout. They do have a really good linebacker in Shaquille Barrett. I'm not sure if I pronounced his name right, but he was one of the top linebackers in the league. Antoine Winfield Jr. was one of the safeties that we talked about a lot during the draft. We wanted the Bears to get him, but he didn't work out for us. He ended up in Tampa Bay. So a lot of people have been talking about him already during camp. He's been really adjusting to the NFL speed. So he's definitely going to help that secondary improve right off the bat. So Todd Boyles comes in as the defensive coordinator again for the second year, so he gets another year under his belt. He's a much respected defensive coordinator in the league. So the defense is definitely going to be much improved, but they're going to finish. Unfortunately, I feel like they're going to finish second behind the Saints. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense is going to be dynamic. There's probably going to be top three offense, one of the top three offenses in the league. Obviously, you have the greatest of all time at quarterback. The sack numbers are going to go down substantially from when they were last year, and actually 33 interceptions was thrown last year by Winston. That's going to be cut down tremendously. Brady's going to throw less than 10 interceptions. He's going to do pretty much what he did in New England. It's going to be 3-step drops, one-step drops with Tom Brady. He's all about timing. He's not as mobile, but he's never really been a super mobile quarterback. He's going to get the ball out of his hands very quickly. They have probably one of the best receiving cores in the league with Goodwin and Evans, those guys. And then obviously you bring back Gronk. So it's not going to be much you're going to be able to do with that offense. They did pick up a nice running back too with Keyshawn Vaughn. He's a pretty versatile running back. So the offense is going to be very explosive, but I think just because the deficiencies they had on last year on the defense, it's just not going to be enough to overcome the New Orleans Saints. The Saints is who I got winning the division. He got one of the best quarterbacks of all time, Drew Brees, who I actually think is not valued enough.
Absolutely.
He doesn't get talked about enough in this league. He gets disrespected a lot, obviously. You talk about top 5 quarterbacks in the league, and even with Adiwadi said that he would take Russell Wilson over Drew Brees. No disrespect, but I feel like that is a disrespect to Drew Brees. I would not take Russell Wilson over Drew Brees. Not even at this age. Not even at this age with Drew Brees. So the continuity that the Saints have on offense and what they've had for the last few years is just going to continue to roll. They had the offensive MVP of the league last year with Michael Thomas and Drew Brees. They're basically going to keep that going. I mean, who knows how many passes Michael Thomas is going to catch this year. I mean, he's going to pretty much break his own record again. You can't stop that duo with Drew Brees and Michael Thomas. And then they bring in Emmanuel Sanders. It's going to be a huge pickup for the Saints because he's going to be able to take care of the middle of the defense. You're not going to be able to double Thomas as much. If you do, I mean, Emmanuel Sanders is going to pick you apart. He's going to be that third down guy, get the first down, move the chains, just help him move the sticks. And then let's talk about the defensive side of the Saints. So their secondary was their weak link. Their top 7, very stout. Had one of the best run defenses in the league. I think they only gave up 93.1 yards rushing last year, so that was enough to finish at least top 5 in the league. So what they did in the secondary was they basically picked up the Jenkins brothers. They went with some old school guys on defense instead of bringing in some younger guys to figure things out. So picked up Malcolm Jenkins to play safety. He's a lot better against the pass than Von Bell was. Von Bell was very stout against the run, but he wasn't as good defending against the pass. And then you got Janoris Jenkins playing corner on the opposite side of the defensive player of the year, Lattimore at corner. So the combination of them picking up the Jenkins brothers, them picking up Emmanuel Sanders, and then just having that team, that same team that pretty much has been together for the last 3 or 4 years. It's gonna be tough with the Bucs, but I got the Saints coming on top.
Hey, it's gonna be nothing like watching. Think about the treat we get as football fans. We get to see Drew Brees and Tom Brady score off 2 times this year. That's must see TV. So I'm gonna go in a different direction. I kind of agree with most of y'all saying. I'm gonna give you my division winners and my wild cards, and anybody want to react, just let me know. All right, so the NFC North, I got the Green Bay Packers winning the division. I feel like Aaron Rodgers is gonna use his quarterback. Them drafting the quarterback in the first round of motivation. He might be MVP. Watch out. Aaron Rodgers is on MVP alert. On the NFC South, I got the New Orleans Saints for all the reasons you said, Dante. It's just too much going on down there. But those matchups with Tampa Bay are going to be epic. In the NFC East, I got the Dallas Cowboys. I agree with you, Boone. I feel like Zeke Elliott will have a bounce back year, and Dak Prescott, who still hasn't got a contract yet, will light it up this year. I think he will use that as a motivation. On the NFC West, I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks. I agree with you, Adi. I am going with the Seahawks. I like Russell Wilson. I like that Jamal Adams took it over the top for me. Them getting Jamal Adams to play safety back there, that's a different level right there. My wild card teams are the San Francisco 49ers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, call me a homer, the Chicago Bears will get that last playoff spot. They got 7 teams this year. They might have got it last year if they had 7 teams last year, but I'm going with the Chicago Bears. So that's my playoff. Does anybody disagree? Anybody want to challenge that? Go ahead, Marcus.
I'm jumping in, and Boone hit on a lot of things that I was saying. I'm gonna look at the West. We all agree that Seattle is going to win, but although they're the NFC champs, I looked at San Francisco's schedule. Let me say what their last 7 games are. The Eagles, the Rams, 2 versus Seattle, the Saints, Bills, and Cowboys.
Woo!
So I had them. I had Seattle 1. I had the Saints 2, Green Bay 3. I had Philly winning the East, Tampa number 5, Minnesota number 6. So it was a battle for that 7th playoff spot. And I had, it might be as well, I had the Bears making that 7th. And I just, it was between San Francisco. I just think that schedule, them last 7 games, they not going to be.
Oh, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. Let me start with you, Roach. Now, you left the Vikings off the playoff, out the playoffs, right?
Let me tell you something. The Vikings cannot beat the Chicago Bears. The Bears have beaten them 4 straight times the last 2 years.
No. The Vikings are going to win the NFC North, bro.
Ooh, okay.
The NFC North. The Packers win the NFC North. Okay. Green Bay, they had a very lackluster offseason. They didn't even draft a wide receiver in a whole NFL draft. They signed a wide receiver, Devin Funchess, the agent. Then he opted out for the season because of COVID-19. So they didn't improve their squad, man. I think Adams gonna get double teamed every game, all the time. The Vikings we went over this. Vikings had the best draft in the division, probably.
They did.
That's true. That's true. That is true. That is true.
They really improved. You know, they traded Diggs. They traded Stephon Diggs to the Bills. They got a lot of draft picks. They took the guy Justin. They took him. He's fast and he caught a lot of touchdown passes from Joe Burrow. I got the Vikings division. The Bears, man, they don't even have a quarterback. Eddie Goldman opted out for the season. The Bears need they need the defense to be flawless. They need defense to be like 2006, 2018, 80s type Bears defense. But you lose Eddie Goldman, man, and then you got Mr. Trubisky, who's a bust in my book, and you got Nick Foles coming off a horrible game. Bears not making it.
Now, I got to say one thing. Now, the Vikings, Adi is way overrating the Vikings. Yeah, they had 17 picks in the draft, but, you know, rookies can't always pan out. Come on now. It's like a crapshoot. They lost too much from last year. They didn't even win the division last year, and they lost all that talent. The Vikings not going to win. Now, I see Dante was really he was stuck on the fence between Tampa Bay and the Saints. I'm picking Tampa Bay to win that division. Tampa Bay defense was stellar and very underrated. If your boy Jameis Winston not going to give you 30 turnovers or 30 interceptions plus the fumbles, give them in bad position, going 3 and out, making them tired all the time, the defense would have been a lot more solid. And now they got all these offensive weapons. Don't forget about O.J. Howard, the other tight end, next to Gronk. Tampa Bay finna go all the way. They're gonna win that division. So my playoff teams is Tampa Bay winning the South, the Saints getting the second seed in the wild card. I got the Seahawks winning and the 49ers getting the second seed, Dallas winning, the Eagles missing the playoffs, all right? And I'm gonna go with it. Now I might be a homer, all right? I'm going with it.
Let's go.
Green Bay getting the second seed. That defense is
Bears winning the division? You got the Bears winning the division?
This division this year, all right? Green Bay go get Green Bay had a horrible draft. Green Bay had a horrible draft. The Bears had a nice, solid draft. I got the Bears winning the division.
All right. Let's quick, y'all. I'm gonna start with you, Adi. Who's your NFC? Who's in the NFC Championship game, and who's winning, Adi?
Okay, look, man. I got the Minnesota Vikings going to the NFC Championship game, bro. Man, Kirk Cousins showed that he's prime time. They get that win in New Orleans, boy. That game-winning touchdown to Cal Rudolph. Man, I'm telling you, Kirk Cousins is ready to start winning some primetime games. I got them going against the Seattle Seahawks. They made all them improvements. They got DK Metcalf going to a second year. They got Greg in there. He's coming from the Carolina Panthers. I got the Seahawks versus the Vikings. I got the Seahawks going to the Super Bowl, 5-year Super Bowl appearance drought. I got the Seahawks beating the Vikings in the NFC Championship game.
Ooh. Coach Marcus Floyd, who's going to be in the NFC Championship and who's winning? Real quick,
I have Seattle versus the Saints. Adi just gave all the reasons why the Seattle Seahawks will be the number one seed. Dante gave all the reasons why I'm picking the Saints for the second year in a row. I was wrong last year. The Saints, not just winning the NFC, but winning the Super Bowl. Those defensive pickups with Malcolm Jenkins, Norris Jenkins, and Emmanuel Sanders, they're going to put them over the top. Drew Brees is going to ride off in the sunset as a Super Bowl champion.
Okay. Dante, who's playing an NFC Championship game and who's going to win?
Oh, man. It's a tough one. You know what? I like the New Orleans Saints to make it, obviously for pretty much all those reasons that I talked about earlier. And then I like them going against Seattle. You know what? I just not so hung up on Tampa Bay. You know, they're gonna turn things around. They're gonna be really, really good, a lot better than last year. But just one player coming in, just to take a team from 7-9 to the NFC Championship game is just not realistic. No matter who it is, you're not gonna go 7-9 to an NFC Championship game. So I like the Saints winning that game pretty much versus Seattle. I think in the end, Seattle's not going to be able to keep up scoring with the Saints, and the Saints are going to go back to the Super Bowl.
Woo, Saints. Boone and Potter. Who's going to be the NFC Championship game and who's going to win?
Oh, man. Well, you know what? I mean, I feel what Dante talking about with Tampa Bay going from 7-9 to, going deep in the playoffs, but I don't think it's just one player. You know what I mean? I think that the defense is underrated, and they're getting offensive weapons everywhere. So I really think that they got a real chance to rock, but they did not address the offensive line. I think, Tom Terrific can't move around like that. He never really got hit. I don't know how you're going to react to being a guy that got to get off the ground over and over again on playing. So with that being said, I do got the Saints going to the NFC Championship game, and I got them going against the Seattle Seahawks, all right? And I got that's a tough one, man. I don't know who's going to win that game, but if I had to say just something right now, I would have Seattle beating the Saints. I think when you get Jamal Adams down there as safety, they already got to they got to re-sign the guy they got from
Clowney.
They got to re-sign Clowney because you got to hit Drew Brees. So it's real tough, but if that front seven is doing something and they hitting Drew Brees, like I said, old guys don't want to get hit. So if the Seahawks can hit Drew Brees, then I go with the Seahawks over the Saints.
Listen, all y'all make good predictions. We all agree on Seattle being in the NFC Championship game. I see we all agree. We all got high expectations for Seattle. But it's going to be Seattle versus the Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship game. And I'm going to tell you why real quick. The Green Bay Packers have a stranglehold on the NFC North. Aaron Rodgers is in everybody's head. And guess what? Because of that, they're going to have a first-round bye. And all they got to do is win one home game to get to that NFC Championship game, which they will do, but they're not going to the Super Bowl. Russell Wilson is going to play in his 3rd Super Bowl. Yes, and they're going to get it done. Seattle's loaded. I feel like they could have won it. They was just as good last year. They added some pieces. They're still not done dealing. They bring Clowney back, hopefully, and Seattle is going to the Super Bowl. And Russell Wilson is tied with Aaron Rodgers for the best quarterback in the NFL right now.
No,
Russell Wilson is damn good.
No love for Drew Brees.
No love for the 49ers.
Oh, I'm not forgetting about the 49ers. I'm just looking at the quarterback play. When it comes down to it, who do I trust more in the game? Do I trust Russell Wilson or Jimmy Garoppolo more? I trust Russell Wilson. That's just what it comes down to. I trust Aaron Rodgers over all of them. I feel like the Saints, their time is gone. I feel like it's done. So I want to thank Boone the Potter. I want to thank Dante. I want to thank Coach Floyd and Adi, man. Great show. In the meantime, in between time, until the next time, we out. Peace.